myself. So the aim of our session today is to provide a bit of an insight around some of the challenges we're seeing around managing financial risk and reducing fraud, but then also delving a little deeper into our solutions to look at some of the aspects such as the technology unification, some of the back office technologies. And Anne's going to give us a great demonstration around the fraud protection capabilities. And then we'll bring all the parts back together and summarize and bring out some of the next steps that we'd like to focus into. So let's start with some of the challenges that we're seeing out there around managing financial risk and what we're actually starting to think about in terms of some of the serious roadblocks that are out there. Historically, there's still quite a lot of legacy systems out there that are a little bit outdated, and their data is quite fragmented in terms of where that data actually sits. So there's quite a lot of data silos leading to perhaps some static reports, which can, of course, lead to some untimely business decisions, of course. But also there's a growing range of regulatory requirements in terms of localizations as well that we're all having to try and manage. And this digital threat around our data, especially this year, is becoming more and more pertinent to identifying ways of success in an ever-changing economy. So from our lens, we're looking to try and help unblock some of the business continuity that is out there and try and help with some predictive and proactive ways of utilizing our financial operations. And it kind of comes together in three pillar activities, really. We've got the aspects around the data, how we can leverage data from the perspective of performance, where we want to try and provide some time or actionable insights around our financial data, the performance metrics, and maybe identify some future outcomes through some insights that we can provide through a level of prediction. But there's also about activities relating to how we can continuously deliver our solutions through our platform that can then enable your own people to start innovating with the solutions that are around. And I'll touch on a number of that aspects in a moment. And then we've got the protection level. How do we help guard your revenue as a solution from those credit card authorization challenges that we do sometimes experience, leading through to how we can, in effect, improve that customer experience. And from a Microsoft Dynamics 365 perspective, these are really being underpinned by three business application areas of finance, fraud protection, and human resources. But to relate to it in more detail, I want to try and bring it all together in terms of a particular ecosystem. Now, this slide is fairly busy, but it does bring everything together in terms of what we need to talk about. Towards the bottom segment, we've got an area known as technology unification. And within this, we can see a host of capabilities around how we would manage a client, to the user access, through to how we might even manage the application itself, through to automation, and across into some integrations. But then we've got the middle area where we've got those business application aspects from finance to our workforce, which in effect is HR, and how we can bring capabilities across budget and cash management together and drive out perhaps those actionable insights from a financial management perspective. But then we've got those kind of channels and key stakeholders about how we are to engage with our data, whether it be from a customer lens where we are interacting from an e-commerce engine through to maybe our vendors that are leveraging a portal where we're connecting directly, or indeed an employee portal. These are all kind of key channels and stakeholders where we may need to share our data. So let's go a little deeper down into the technology unification aspect. And in particular, I want to kind of bring together some philosophy of how we can unify your technology. So, the systems can be quite innovative, and but we need to also then provide a seamless level of managing your implementation. And so we have an effective way of leveraging something that we call lifecycle services for the finance and HR capabilities that enable you to manage your implementation, not just from the actual production instance or any sandboxes that are in play, but also from a governance. What methodology might you be following yourselves in conjunction with a partner, or of course with Microsoft as well. all of which enables you to start delivering a solution and building against a range of agile capabilities through these cloud services. And because we've kind of enabled it through this particular lens, it enables you to effectively start to drive activity around data. I'm going to dig into that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But when I've got that data in place that I'm effectively managing those processes, it enables you to then start thinking about how you can personalize your experience, whether that is providing automation or customizing the user experience even further. Because at the end of the day, we're looking to help you manage your risk and provide a productive environment. So when I was touching on the unified data, there's one aspect here that I need to touch deeper on. And this is a capability of how we can start to leverage other areas like, say, the Dynamics 365 in conjunction with the Power Platform. And from a finance lens perspective, there's two capabilities around dual rights and virtual entities. So the dual rights is a capability that enables us to empower master data to interact directly with this common data service that can be leveraged with Power Platform and other applications. And then we're in effect exposing all of our entities virtually into the CDS so that you can do that kind of create, that update, that delete type processes that you need to be doing to leverage your data. And then once you've got your unified set of information in one place from your finance system, that enables you to then go that step further of how you can start to evolve those traditional processes and perhaps start to leverage capabilities from within the Power Platform, such as Power Automate, which could, say, take an example of, a credit limit for a customer has been exceeded. That could be a business event trigger that you need to leverage to maybe update other parts of the software, maybe to notify individuals, basically drive a rich query off the back of that to interact with some other element of your digital landscape. You've got that sort of scope in place. But at the same time, we've got our data in one location, which means we can start to also leverage insights through the business intelligence capabilities of Power BI. Power BI dashboards and reports can be embedded directly within finance, and you actually get a host of these automatically with the solution, which you can then tailor and customize to suit, which means you can then start to drive insights that go beyond just transactional data. You can actually start to leverage some observational data from the broader CDS solution that exists across the portfolio of the applications. And that can start to help drive a bit of a data culture where every employee can start to help make decisions based on real-time data. Now, when we're looking at employees, there's also the breadth of how we might represent a client to them. Yes, there's a full web-based client that they can leverage, but we often are needed to provide scalable mobile applications as well. And there's a number of ways that we could do that, whether it could be through the Power App capabilities of the Power Platform, which is leveraging a no-code, low-code app approach, or through leveraging a point-and-click workspace designer that is part of finance to provide some quite straightforward and simple user experiences, or leveraging experiences that we've pushed out to, say, the Google Store or the Apple stores that are for specific scenarios or use cases, such as maybe managing, a lot of detail of information around, say, a timesheet, where you have a lot of rich information being presented to an individual straight away. So all of this unification of data and the technologies through the CDS with the finance system also then enables you to go that step further, because this is a composable architecture after all, which is enabling you to interact with other solutions, whether it be from a supply chain perspective or another application. You can push information or receive information via a whole host of connectors through from one system to another. And so what we're looking to try and do all the time is enable Dynamics to work smoothly and effectively across your organization through a host of deployment options, and I'll touch a little deeper on those in a moment, through a range of the security capabilities around role-based activity. Individuals that could be a procurement clerk are going to see quite a different set of workspaces and experiences to, say, a credit controller. And by deploying this across the globe, we at Microsoft are having to always ensure we're meeting a host of regulatory and localization standards to enable you to then continue to be able to get that little bit deeper around any customizations or addressing particular business needs that you may well have. And finance as a solution can be deployed through an accredited partner network that could also work in conjunction with our Microsoft Fast Track service, which is going to help you realize some business value and drive the right sort of business processes that are appropriate for you. Now, I touched on the regulatory perspectives, and there is a host of standards that we are always looking to adhere to. And there's a breadth of global government and industry-based standards that we look to meet. And to see the full detail of all of these, you can go across to the Microsoft Trust Center, just pop that into your browser and look at the compliance details, and you'll see the breadth of what we are covering against those individual standards and localizations. And a great one that kind of comes to mind as well is around the GDPR compliancy. From a Microsoft perspective, we believe privacy is a fundamental right, and we believe the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, is an important step. And we provide that capability as reporting tools directly within the finance solution so that you can address any, say, mandatory personal data breach reporting that you need to do and avoid any significant penalties that could occur if you weren't fulfilling that. And I also touched on the deployment aspect. Now, this is where we can also go that a little bit deeper around, what type of cloud deployment? Global? Is it go local? Is it sovereign? So sovereign is where we're looking at it from an isolated global cloud perspective, local data centers meeting specific requirements, such as markets in, say, China. And we've got the go local cloud perspective, which is data centers, which are looking at it from a country border deployed within a latency-defined boundary for synchronous replication of data for areas like disaster recovery, in countries like France and India are great examples of that. And the map on the right-hand side there is showing you the breadth of where we are deploying. And when we are deploying, we're always looking to provide a kind of guaranteed uptime level of service, which we are managing in our data centers through the lifecycle services environment that I touched on earlier, that is addressing those particular sandbox requirements of a UAT testing box through to a box that might be used by a developer for any form of customization, so you can explore, apply, review before them being updated to your live production environment, which is hosting your finance solution. So I've touched on a range of the kind of the technology unification elements there, but I also want to focus in a little bit more around some of the ongoing elements that have occurred this year for finance for us. And in particular, I'm interested in talking about the fact that, we've got a configurable globalization engine now that is helping organizations across, 37 countries and regions that Microsoft directly is helping. And there's also a host of localizations that are being provided on top of that for solutions that are going beyond by our app source engine. So you're going to Microsoft App Source and you can explore those accordingly. But this is an ongoing need. And this year alone, in the next wave of our solution, we've added in a host of new localization capabilities. Bahrain, Hong Kong, Kuwait, Oman are just some examples of the new localizations that have been incorporated, as well as the continuous update programs that are in there. And we've also seen a huge increase in the range of e-invoicing capabilities that we need to be providing, the type of transaction types that are, whether it be a customer invoice to a credit note. We've had to simplify that process through the document management capabilities, which we've done, and that has now enabled people to start, generating secure, confidential, and authenticated transactions between organizations. And this continues to be a need for us around that regulatory reporting and auditing capability that, by region or localization, you need to be providing for, a host of reporting needs, which you can do as a power user. You can take what we have as our core solution and then, in effect, expand upon it for any particular market need that might go beyond our core solution. So across the board there, I've just been touching on a range of the capabilities of how we can help manage the financial risk, bring together the unification of your data to try and help manage and control that ongoing need around your financial solution. Now, I want in a moment to pause and pass control across to Anand, who can then take us further into how we can help protect and guard your revenue against fraud.
Thank you, Kevin. My name is Anand Oka. I am a partner group program manager here in Business Applications Group at Microsoft. And I would like to take the next 10-15 minutes to talk with you about a product called Dynamics Fraud Protection, which can help you guard your revenue against fraud and mitigate your fraud losses. So in order to kind of explain this product, I need to give you a little bit of a background about what has been happening with digital transformation. So obviously, digital transformation has enabled businesses to impact their entire customer journey, the way they engage with their customers. And as you know, the journey basically has three phases. There is an identity phase, there is a phase where actual purchases happen, commercial transactions, and there is also a post-purchase, reverse logistics phase. So in the identity phase, the merchant or the business is now able to encourage his customers to sign up in large numbers. Businesses want to encourage their customers to sign up as easily as they can, and they want to encourage them to make frequent and many visits to their portal and interact with their portal, because that's the way to get them interested in your product lineup. In the purchase phase, the merchant wants to encourage his customers to shop as frequently as they can, and he wants to make the shopping experience as smooth and as pain-free as it can be. And in the last phase, in the post-purchase phase, in order to earn customer loyalty, the business wants to make sure that its customers can get the post-purchase service that they deserve, also in a very smooth and frictionless manner. For example, they should be able to do returns and refunds without no hassle. And that engenders loyalty. They come back to buy more from you. So obviously, digital transformation has been helping with this journey and making each of these steps very easy and frictionless. But it has had a kind of a side effect also, which is that it has made the life of fraudsters also easy. They can now attack all these three phases of the customer journey more easily, and they can actually cause a lot of damage. For example, in the identity phase, because it's so easy to create online accounts, fraudsters will create a lot of fake accounts, and they'll abuse this facility to get offers and rewards that are meant for new users. Or for example, in the payment space, when you're actually buying something online, fraudsters will use stolen instruments to buy and pay for things that they buy. And later, of course, there's a chargeback, there's a dispute, and the payment has to be given back to the bank because it was not authorized on that card. And so that obviously causes fraud losses for the business or the merchant. And lastly, in the post-purchase phase, because the business has made it easy to do returns and refunds, fraudsters can actually abuse that and actually get returns and refunds when they're not eligible to do so. And in fact, that can result in a lot of losses too. So really, the aim of this product, which I'm going to talk with you about now, is really to help the customer holistically fight all these phases of customer fraud in all the phases of the customer journey across identity, purchase, and post-purchase. So the product has three capabilities. The first capability is called account protection. And the aim here is to really stop fake accounts from being created and detect account compromises early so that you can protect your reputation and your customer experience. The second capability of the product is purchase protection. And the aim here is to really stop fraud from happening during the purchase phase, the payment phase, and do it in such a way that you don't actually stop or hurt your loyal, legitimate customers. And loss prevention is more of an anomaly detection mechanism where you look back on sets of transactions that have happened in store, especially around discounts and refunds, and then you detect clusters of anomalies, of patterns which kind of signify that there is something anomalous with it, and they can be investigated and mitigating action can be taken. Typically, that fraud involves point-of-sale terminals and employees in store who may give returns, who may allow discounts and returns which are not eligible. So if you take a step back and look at the product and ask what are the major product features that really differentiate it in the market and make it a compelling proposition, it's really kind of, we can speak of those product features in two levels. There are product features which are common. They are shared across all the three capabilities I described earlier. And then there are product features which are specific to that each capability because it specializes to the special need of that kind of fraud. So the common capabilities are the following. This product is extensively based on AI, and it's not just a regular kind of AI, artificial intelligence, but it's really a new breed of AI called adaptive intelligence, where the aim is to learn fraud patterns on the go and always be immunized, sort of, so to speak, so that you can detect and protect yourself from against evolving patterns. This AI works against a very big and comprehensive source of knowledge called the fraud protection network, where we combine data from all our customers in a compliant and privacy presuming way. But the aim here is to really get a global view of how fraud and non-fraud events are happening, so that we can better discriminate the two and give good service to good customers, at the same time make sure that we are able to stop fraud in its track. The third common capability is device fingerprinting. This is basically the ability to collect signals from the device, the client, which is used to actually make purchases or log in into accounts and things like that. And this allows us to really understand how devices are used across different portals. And it really is a very important tool in the fight against fraud. And finally, the final big capability that we have in the engine is called a decision engine. And the aim of this capability is really to allow the customers to configure and run rules of their choice in a very fast and performant way, so that you can make decisions based on the machine learning score and all the other data that you're sending to the service. So these are common capabilities. All the different parts of the product share them. And then each of the specific capabilities like account protection, purchase protection, and loss prevention, they have some special sauce. And I won't go into each of them right now, but for example, if you look at purchase protection, there is a special sauce there that only we in the market today have, and that's called a transaction acceptance booster. This is an ability for the merchant to actually send certain kinds of trust data to the bank in real time when the transaction is happening, which allows the merchant to have a better chance of getting his transaction accepted. So it basically allows you to capture more revenue. Similarly, there's a customer escalation support tool, which allows the merchant to actually serve and mitigate any kind of customer escalation related to risk rejects. If legitimate customers are getting stopped because of risk reasons, through the support tool, the merchant can unblock those customers. We have a lot of other capabilities, as you see in account protection. We have bot protection. On the loss prevention side, we have automated discovery, which is the anomaly detection piece. And so there is a lot of detail in each of these capabilities. I won't be able to touch on all of them, but just kind of have this sense that this is a very comprehensive AI-based product, and each aspect of the product actually utilizes specialized AI to unblock and stop fraud and unblock customers in that particular scenario. I'll just touch upon this because this is a developer community. This is something you would definitely appreciate. This is a product that is built natively on Azure. So we use Azure Compute, VMs across the world, NGOs across the world. We use Azure Storage. We use Azure Networking and Communications Infrastructure. So it is really, built ground up on Azure natively. But at the same time, it also enables your cloud story. So in the product, we have capabilities, and I'll demo them shortly, where you can export data through things like event tracing. And then you can take that data out and export it to event hubs. You can send it to blob storage or ADLS and things like that. And then you can run your own analytics and your own workloads on that. And this is very critical because fraud protection not just stops fraud right at the gate in the real-time transaction phase, but all those analytics that you're getting from our insights can be further used to change your processes or take further actions to improve the efficiency of your system. So this is really an important piece of the puzzle. I won't spend too much time on architecture here, but it's worthwhile calling out one example of how DFP works. This is how the fraud purchase protection capability works. So the idea here is that the merchant's customer, who is the shopper, will be coming to your portal, the merchant's portal, and he or she will try to make a purchase or maybe do a refund or something like that. When that event is happening, the merchant will make in real time a call to our service and send us a certain transaction payload. And at the same time, our service will automatically pick up certain kinds of data from the device of this user via this technology called device fingerprinting. And then we will reason over this data using ML in a very quick and fast turnaround manner. So literally within a few hundred milliseconds, we'll be able to produce an answer. And an answer is saying basically what is the risk of that transaction. It's like a probability. And then we also provide certain risk reasons which explain why we came to that conclusion. Now, using that risk assessment and using all the data that the merchant had sent us, including the transaction payload and the revised fingerprinting data, the merchant can then use all that data and the risk assessment in the rules engine that I told you about earlier, and the merchant can make a decision, allow or reject the transaction. Now, if the merchant allows the transaction, it will go over the standard all-settled flow to the bank for collecting the money, against the credit card. But while that is happening, we will also send a certain packet of data to the bank in real time, and this packet is called trust knowledge. And the aim of this packet is really to convince the bank to accept the transaction with higher probability by providing them certain important pieces of information, like the risk score, certain information around the device, certain information around the location of the transaction, and so forth. And this is really a secret sauce, as I told you earlier. This is something that we uniquely have in the market today, and it helps improve the authorization rate of the transactions. So enough said in terms of slideware. Let me show you a few quick demos. I really want to demo you the rules creation and event tracing part of the product, because this is something that developers love, and this really kind of gives you the power to do many more workloads by taking data out of the product, as well as configuring the rules engine to do exactly the kind of decisioning you want to do. So first of all, you can create rules in a very standard, developer-friendly format with Intellisense. So there's completions, there is context provided for the different kinds of commands that you can write. But basically, the idea is that you write clauses, conditions, which trap different kind of scenarios, and then you can create actions saying that when such and such condition is met, then take this action. So the conditions could be that, hey, this is a consumer segment in a particular geo, and the risk assessment score is so and so. And in that case, you accept or reject the transaction, or challenge it, or send it for manual review. But we don't stop there, obviously, right? We want to make life as easy as possible. So first of all, you need to be able to create rules and save them as drafts. This is very important, because you can put a rule in production, but you can also create a version which is ready to go into production if the need be. And this happens often during holiday seasons, where fraud managers want to create like backup rules saying that if fraud spikes, I want to put this new rule into production for that segment. And so we give that capability to create rules and save them as drafts. This is something that developers really love, because that gives them a lot of control on how to use our product. Then we have something called rules templates, where we give you a lot of help in terms of how you can set up your rules, and then you can modify them and expand them further as you need. For example, like geofencing is a common scenario that comes across in a lot of these fraud-related applications. And the aim that there really is to prevent a transaction from happening if it is not from the right geo. For example, the store is located in one country and the device is located in a completely different country. You want to stop that from happening. So we give you a template out of the box, and you can take that template and put it in production, or you can update it further with your specific clauses. We give you a pretty solid rules debugging experience. On the right-hand side, you can see there's a sample payload. You can consume that sample payload in the rule as it is being written. And actually, if the rule doesn't execute and properly, if it executes into a failed condition, it will actually show it as red. So you will know that, hey, this rule is not syntactically correct. But not just that, you can actually use that. In the previous case, you can actually use that sample payload, and the attributes that you're seeing there will actually be consumed in the rules, and they'll actually evaluate over that attribute set. So you can actually see that the rule is executing properly or not. We have things like custom lists, where the idea is that we give you the ability to set up extensive lists of known entities like trusted email addresses, trusted IP addresses, trusted domains, and things like that. And you can actually do membership kind of conditions in the rules when you're executing the rules. For example, if a certain IP address belongs to a trusted list, maybe allow it to happen with higher probability, or give it like a better, an easier path forward, like a manual review and things like that. And finally, we have this notion of payload evaluation. As I said, you can actually evaluate against a known payload. And in fact, you can actually go and update the payload here. You can actually change these quantities right on the fly, and you will see the rule evaluating with that changed payload. So you can see how the evaluation is affected by the values of the payload. This is a very powerful capability. It's almost like an interpreted language, if you want to think about it like that. And finally, we have this notion of event tracing. As I said, the idea here is to really give the ability for you, the developers, to export not just all the data that you send to DFP, but all the insights that DFP produce in terms of the scores and the machine learning risk reasons and things like that. And you can send them all out to a location of choice, like an event hub. And each and every transactions, and we are talking about millions of transactions that may happen in a day, you can send them out to that source, and then you can run your workloads there, and you can actually execute further analytics and further reporting of your choice, including custom reporting. And we give you a lot of custom templates of PBI reports also to get you started. So that was like my short and quick demo. There's a set of resources here that I would invite you to go and check out. Go to the product webpage, check out the product documentation. And there's a DFP in a day capability that we have where you can get started and get implemented with DFP and get your first kind of report out of DFP, which actually helps you get value literally within a day. And I highly recommend you should try this out. It's something that really will get you going. And from that point onwards, your journey to discovering all the capabilities of DFP will be very easy. And so I invite you to check that out if you can. With that, I think I'll invite Kevin back in and offer some closing remarks.
Super. Thank you for that, Anand. So everything you've just been hearing from Anand and then myself is all looking to bring together a range of those capabilities that we've got on screen at the moment to try and manage the financial risk that then leads through to, optimizing your overall financial operations. So overall, I hope you found it very useful and informative about the various capabilities that we have. And then if you could just kind of click a slide a moment for us. There's a number of takeaway actions that we have between us. And I'm looking at it from the lens of the Dynamics 365 Finance and the HR perspectives. If you go to our websites, there's a host of, or just put in Dynamics 365 Finance, it will take you to our landing page on the Microsoft.com site, where you can see a whole range of information where you can drill into a trial experience around finance or start learning and following some learning paths. And the same is also true for HR. And then would you like to address fraud protection?
Yeah, I would. Just a quick call out that in fraud protection, we have a very interesting capability we offer you even before you sign up for the product. We call it ROI calculator. So please reach out to your account team or your Microsoft partner, and they can actually walk you through an ROI calculator where by giving a few sets of data points, like a few attributes about your business, you can get a clear, quick understanding of how much money basically fraud protection can help you save and make in terms of revenue. And so that will be like a real impetus for you to be able to decide whether you want to proceed forward. So I highly encourage you taking a look at the ROI calculator.
Perfect. One more click for us, please, Nand. As an event, there is a number of kind of takeaways we'd like you to address as well. There is a certification journey that you can start across building your skills, and you can go to Microsoft Learn for Microsoft Dynamics 365 or from a Power Platform lens. There's a whole community to connect with as well or explore further around the rest of the event. So I do hope you get a lot more from the broader event going on. And as a final two-part call out from Anand and myself, initially, I'd like to just call out and say thank you for listening to us both today. But I'd also like to just kind of draw your attention back to the evaluation surveys. And we would love you to fill that detail in and help tune our content that we provide next time around for you. So from myself, thank you very much.
Thank you.